Hello everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sauce Labs dashboard. I'm going to start with a side menu here, and I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly so that we can spend most of our time on the test results screen here. The dashboard link just takes you back to the screen we're already on. Tunnels will show you your active Sauce Connect tunnels. So I have a tunnel up right now. You can see there's the ID, and there's the ID again. Archives will show you all of the tests you've run. The main dashboard screen shows you a subset of tests, the more recent ones. This has some nice filtering, so I can search for just a particular subset of tests here. Documents is going to take me to the Sauce Labs Cookbook homepage. Now this is a really good resource with a lot of information and examples. But if there's one knock on Sauce Labs, is that they don't seem to prune their documentation very vigorously. So some of the information can be outdated. It's still worth starting here, however, and the customer service has been pretty good as well. All right, so let's go back. Let me close this. You'll see your concurrent sessions and your hours remaining. Now your various subscription levels will give you access to a higher or lower number of concurrent sessions. You can see I don't have any tests running right now. I max out at 2, but I have seen it spike higher, so you may get a little wiggle room there. 67.6 hours of test remaining. A note on this, for those of you doing native app testing, native device emulators take a lot longer to boot up than just a regular desktop VM, and the clock starts ticking the second the VM starts booting up. So you can burn through your time a lot faster testing against native devices. All right, let's go into the account profile drawer. So under team management, you're going to see some of the metrics about how you've been using Sauce Labs, and you can add and administer other users. So you can see I've got 2 other users sharing this account. My account just has some account-specific information. User settings is for my specific user or your specific user. The one nice thing here is I can regenerate my access key if I think it's been compromised or needs to be regenerated for some other reason. Support is also going to take me off-site. And this is a nice resource as well. I have access to post a public question or to email Sauce Labs directly. And some of the articles that you can find in here are actually quite useful. Okay, so let's get back to the main dashboard. Now the main dashboard is composed of 3 tabs. We'll start with automated builds. Now this tab is going to show you each test run as a single unit, each build. So what that means is that if you have a multi-configuration project in Jenkins, for instance, and it's running your project that has 10 tests and it's running it against 4 different environments, each of those environments is going to show up as a separate line item here, and each line item will have all 10 tests as children. So you see I have this UI automation matrix. That's my multi-configuration project. It runs against 4 environments. And when I open this, I'll get a nice little report of that test run, and I'll see the individual test, of which there should be 8. If I go back into a failed test, I can see which test failed. I can actually navigate into those tests to get some more information about why they failed. But I'm actually going to pause here because this is basically taking you to the second tab of your main screen. So I'm going to go back out. I'm going to take you to the second tab. This lists all of your tests individually. So instead of seeing one line item for your entire job with 10 child tests, you would see each of those tests listed individually here. So I'm going to go back down to that same failed test and open it up. You can see we're right back where we were just a second ago. Now what's nice here is I can get an idea of exactly what WebDriver was doing in an attempt to complete its task. So I can walk through every step of this test. I can get a visual representation of my browser on the right, and I can step down and see what commands I was sending the browser, what data I was sending along with those commands, and what the browser's response was. So in this particular case, I can see that I was waiting to be able to locate a page element via CSS selector, and I happen to know that what we were looking for was a autocomplete box to appear here. And so WebDriver kept asking for that object and was never able to find it until the test timed out. Now I know that on this day our search service was down, so I know what happened, but if I were a developer, I would still be able to look at this and use that information to at least start me on the path of figuring out what went wrong. I'm going to take you back out now and take you to a passing test. Those are a little easier to walk through. So again, we can look at each step of our test here. So for instance, I can see that I queried for a form button here using a CSS selector. The server returned back to me that it had found the element. It gave me its ID. So the next thing that the test did went to its next step and called element with ID of 1, click. And then it began querying the get title, which gives me the page title, waiting to see if it had changed. And as soon as it changed, the test was determined to be complete and the session was deleted. I can also look through my logs for some of the same information. Now here we see the JSON-based communication between the WebDriver server and the WebDriver client. I can also look at the web server logs, WebDriver server logs. I can gather a little bit of metadata about the test. I can download a video. I can download all of the screenshots or download them individually. This could be useful if we decide to go back at some point and include some visual diff testing. And you saw earlier that I can play through this. So it's moving with each step, it's refreshing the screenshot, showing me the state. Or I can actually watch the movie so I can experience it more like real time. This will let me see exactly what state my automated browser was in every second of my test. Okay, so let's go back to the main dashboard now. I'm going to show you the manual test next. First, I'm going to verify that I still have a tunnel up. I do. This tunnel is how Sauce Labs, the automated browsers in Sauce Labs, are able to see through to my local site even though it is not publicly available. So I'm going to go into manual test, and what I've been using this for is mainly just to make sure that the automated browsers in Sauce Labs can access my test site the way I think they should be able to. So I'm going to create a new manual test. This is where I would enter the URL. That is a entry in my host file pointing to my local site. We'll choose Chrome, Windows 10. We're going to select our currently running tunnel. We're going to start a session. We're choosing desktop because that's going to boot a lot faster. We'll typically get at least one piece of comedy in these feedback messages. Okay, and now what I'm looking at is a automated browser on the Sauce Labs side running my local website. And I can interact with it and prove that everything works. Which it appears to do. I could take a screenshot if I needed one. If I want to copy something to the clipboard and then paste it into the browser, I can use this. I can share with others. Now I'm going to stop this. I'll show you. I don't get the step-by-step that you get with your automated test. I'll go into an older run here. But I can rewatch it and I can look at some of the logs and metadata. Okay, so that about wraps it up for this overview of the Sauce Labs dashboard. If you saw something interesting, I encourage you to investigate it more on your own. The Sauce Labs has a lot of functionality. There's a lot of good tools in there, and it's certainly not all going to be covered in this video or any of the other videos. So go out there and see what you can discover on your own.